The air on the war-torn planet of Varan 3 was thick with smoke. For weeks, the planet had been the site of fierce battles between the Federation of Colonies and the alien Dvorii Empire. As a war strategist for the Federation, Lieutenant Ethan Carter had seen his fair share of terrifying combat, blinding laser fire, monstrous war machines, and even creatures unlike anything back home on Earth. But nothing quite prepared him for what he would witness on this day. Ethan was positioned on the front lines, overseeing the latest clash from a reinforced bunker on the outskirts of a decimated city. His comms buzzed urgently as his superiors issued orders for a final push. It was the Dvorii general's last stand, and the Federation had been tasked with securing the enemy's command post. Lieutenant Carter, we're getting readings of a high-power life form on the move in the enemy's camp. No confirmation on its nature yet, came the voice of his communications officer. What are we dealing with? Ethan asked, glancing at his tactical display. Unknown. But our sensors can't pick it up clearly. Could be a weapon or something biological. Ethan frowned. The Dvorii were known for their advanced tech and brutal weaponry, but they also employed terrifying creatures in battle. Still, he wasn't too worried. All right, just stay sharp. We'll handle it when we get there. As the Federation forces prepared to advance, Ethan's squad moved into position. The Dvorii stronghold was surrounded by a perimeter of defensive structures, but they were lightly guarded at this point. Most of the alien forces had already been decimated in the previous skirmishes. The Federation had almost secured victory. But as they pushed forward, Ethan felt an odd tension in the air, an unease that prickled at his skin. When they breached the enemy base, Ethan was leading the charge. The metal walls of the Dvorii fortress were cold and sterile, but there was something haunting about the silence that had descended. No resistance, no guards, just the flicker of dying lights above and the heavy scent of burning metal in the air. The further they ventured, the more the quiet unsettled him. He motioned for his team to hold position as they approached the command center. Just as he was about to give the order to breach, a deep voice echoed through the comms, cutting through the silence. Bring in the beast, the voice commanded, an alien voice, unmistakably that of General Nirak, the Dvorii leader. Ethan froze. A chill ran down his spine. The beast. He'd heard rumors of a creature so terrifying that it had been locked away in the most secure chamber of the Dvorii stronghold. No one had seen it, and no one had ever made it out alive once it was unleashed. Prepare for the worst, he whispered to his team, signaling them to move back. But instead of a massive war machine or a terrifying alien beast, the door to the command center slid open, and a small, furry creature padded out onto the battlefield. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a small, harmless animal. A puppy, perhaps, its fur fluffy and white, with a slightly oversized head and big, innocent eyes. For a moment, Ethan stood there in stunned silence. His mind raced. Was this some kind of distraction? A trap? There was no way this tiny creature was the so-called beast. The creature let out a soft yelp and trotted up to Ethan, sniffing his boots before looking up at him with those wide, expectant eyes. It wagged its tail, and with the tiniest bark, it playfully jumped at his leg. What in the hell? Ethan muttered under his breath. The Dvorii general's voice crackled through the comms again. You are facing the beast of Varan 3. Beware its power. Ethan couldn't help himself. His lips curled into a grin, despite the absurdity of the situation. That's the beast, he said aloud, almost laughing. It's a puppy. The creature sat down in front of him, still looking up with those adoring eyes, wagging its tail even faster. It looked harmless, almost comically so. But then Ethan noticed something. The fur around the creature's neck shifted slightly, revealing a series of small, metal implants embedded beneath the skin. Advanced technology, seamlessly integrated into the creature's biology. Before he could process what he was seeing, a strange hum filled the air. The small creature's body began to glow faintly, and within seconds, its form started to shift. Its eyes began to glow with an unnatural light, its fur rippling and transforming, expanding as its body grew larger and larger. In a matter of seconds, the tiny puppy morphed into a massive, towering creature, its once soft features now sharp and angular, its fur now a dense, metallic plating. The creature's mouth stretched wide, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. The implants along its neck and spine pulsed with a sinister energy as it snarled at the Federation troops, who instinctively raised their weapons. Holy hell, Ethan whispered, eyes wide. The beast, as it turned out, wasn't just a fearsome predator. It was an advanced weapon. It had been genetically engineered by the Dvorii to appear harmless, a distraction, a tool to lower their enemy's guard. Once the creature's true power was unleashed, it was a living weapon of mass destruction. The creature let out a terrifying roar, its body shifting and twisting as it charged forward, faster than anyone could react. Ethan's squad opened fire, but the creature's movements were too fast, too unpredictable. It leaped across the battlefield with an unnatural agility, swatting aside soldiers as if they were nothing. Ethan's heart raced, but he was quick on his feet. "Fall back," he shouted to his team, already pulling out a device from his belt, a high-frequency disruptor meant to disrupt the creature's implants. The beast roared again, but its movement slowed as the disruptor's signal hit it. The creature hesitated, its glowing eyes flickering. The implants began to spark and malfunction, but it was still far from being subdued. In a desperate bid to survive, Ethan took aim and fired one final shot, directly targeting the implants at the base of its skull. There was a moment of intense silence. The creature stopped mid-charge, its body convulsing for a brief moment before it collapsed onto the ground with a heavy thud. Its massive form lay still, the once gleaming implants now deactivated. Ethan stood there, breathing heavily, processing what had just happened. He had underestimated the creature, thinking it was nothing more than a harmless puppy. But the truth had been far more complex. "We've neutralized the beast," he reported into his comms, his voice strained. "But don't let its appearance fool you. It was a weapon, one of the most dangerous kinds." As his team began to secure the area, Ethan looked down at the now quiet creature, which had reverted back to its harmless, puppy-like form. He couldn't help but feel a strange sense of respect for it. The Dvorii had created something truly terrifying, and yet it had been disguised as something so innocent. "Never judge a book by its cover," Ethan muttered, shaking his head. Or in this case, a puppy by its size. With the battle finally won and the Dvorii forces retreating, Ethan couldn't help but laugh softly, despite the chaos that had just unfolded. The beast might have been a weapon, but in the end, it was also a reminder of the strange, unpredictable nature of war, and the unexpected power of something that seemed, at first, so cute.